Shri Ganeshaya
Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Pada
Shankaram Loka Shankaram
Samasta Jana Kalyane
Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram
Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande
Paramananda Madhavam Paramananda Madhavam.
We'll read from verse number 15, Panchakoshati Yogena. Panchakoshadi Yogena Tattanmaya stitaha Shuddhatma Neelavastradi Yogena Sphatiko Yata Vapustushadibhih Koshaihi Yuktam Yuktya-vaghatataha Atmanamantaram Shuddham Vivichya Tandulam Yata. So the same Shariratraya. We have studied, we know the term Upadhi, right? That Upadhi means conditioning. Conditioning means that seemingly makes something feel limited. It's not actually limiting, but apparently limits. Right? So that Upadhi is considered as Shariratraya or Panchakosha. Same Upadhi. Either this is this way or this way. Both ways you can consider. One in terms of gross and subtle. Another in terms of gross, subtle and causal. Then you have the gross body. In Sanskrit, what do you call gross body? Stula Sharira, made up of Stula Bhuta. Then you have Sukshma Sharira, made up of Tanmatras, or subtle elements. One is Panchikrita Panchamahabhuta, another is Apanchikrita Panchamahabhuta. But it's a Panchamahabhuta only. Then the Karana Sharira is made up of avidya, essentially avidya. Of course, what do you call the seeds of all our thoughts, everything is there. But essentially avidya. So you have Shariratraya. And then you have the same thing looked from the standpoint of the kosha. In Taittiriya Upanishad, you have the koshas mentioned. See, different Upanishads use different methodologies, but the purpose is to come to the same truth. So when you talk of kosha, you have the Annamaya kosha, you have the Pranamaya kosha, you have the Manomaya kosha, Vijnanamaya kosha, Anandamaya kosha. The purpose again is not to describe the koshas. The purpose is to take you slowly from the gross to the subtle. Gross to the subtle. Usually we know only body. That is said to be Annamaya, made up of food. Actually, body is made up of food only. It comes from the food of the parents. Right? It comes from the vitality, food vitality, the sperm and the ova. What is it? Cell only. It's all the food converted into. That is the body. Now, that becomes that baby, let us say. And throughout life, the baby eats. Eat, oh, eat. And whatever the food the child eats, that becomes the body. More you eat, more you grow. The lesser you eat, the lesser it grows. That's all. Actually, from potato you're putting in your mouth and then calling me. All potato, tomato, brinjal, wheat, rice, everything is there here. Taken from there, put here, and then say me. What a foolish thing. Right? So, annamaya. Next is pranamaya. Pranamaya is made up of prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana, the 5 pranas, and the karmendriyas. In other words, it is an action component of the body. Action component of the body. Then you have the manomaya kosha, which is the emotion content of the personality. Then you have the vijnanamaya kosha, which is the intellectual component of the personality. It's all personality, not the actual person. Then you have anandamaya kosha. What is that? That is a joy component of your personality. But who is the actual person? That you come to understand by inquiry. By inquiry, you reject the annamaya. I am not this annamaya. I am not pranamaya. I am not manomaya. I am not vijnanamaya. I am not anandamaya. Like that you reject. And then come to that. The example, you come to that rice grain. What is that? That is a pure existence. Satchidananda. That's what I am. Come to that. Discover that. Slowly do this. But you should do it. Otherwise, life becomes a big waste. Just eating more and more. And growing annamaya. That's all. What is it? That's not you. No, I want to study more and more. Which is growing now? Vijnanamaya kosha goes. Oh, I want to become more and more loving and kind and good and sweet and noble. Manomaya grows. I want to gain more and more happiness, joy, pleasure. Oh. I'm a connoisseur of what? Coffee. You understand this word? Connoisseur. It's very difficult spelling. Some big C-O-N-N-O something and all comes in between. E comes, U comes, so many words, letters come in between. Anandamaya kosha. Whole life you will do like this only. Whole life. This is all. This is all. I have studied Aristotle. Now I am going to study Kalidasa. Good, study. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. But remember, the main purpose is more than this. There's a greater purpose. And as long as that is not found out, we'll go in circles, round and round. This is a very serious matter. What is the main aim? The main aim is to be fulfilled, complete. And completeness cannot come by adding more and more 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, 1. It cannot come. And finally, what is all this 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1? It belongs to the realm of the false. That is a big problem. Suppose in your dream you win a lottery ticket and I won a lottery ticket, I got 30 crores. 30 crores. Boo! Party. Out of 30 crores, you make announcement. Out of 30 crores, I am going to give 15 crores for my country. 5 crores for my grandparents. 2 crores for the old age home. And remaining, I am going to go for a world tour. And then you fall from the bed down. And you get up and then say, today is Monday. There's something they call Monday blues or something. Monday blues. Again start. What did you gain? By 30 crores and making all those big things, dreams and plans. Whatever 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, you keep on adding. Actually, it is not 1 plus 1 plus 1 also. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus. Keep on adding. What do you get? Big zero. But the whole thing becomes meaning if there is a one. That one is Satchidananda Atma. Then everything becomes meaningful. But if you don't have that one and only put 0, 0, 0, 0, it will become like my max answer paper. So everything my teacher put 0, 0, 0. You understand? There's a greater purpose. And what is that? Atmanam antaram shuddham vivichya tandulam yata. Atmanam antaram shuddham vivichya. Come to that. Vedanta is not against any of the achievements or, nothing. Vedanta is not against. But Vedanta is telling you, don't forget the most important thing. Everything is fine. But the most important thing should not be lost in all the bakwas. The most important thing should not be lost. All right. Now, continuing further to explain the nature of the self, vis-a-vis the upadhis. Next verse.
Sadaa sarva-gatopyatma.
Oh, Sadaa sarva-gatopyatma. All right. So, that is not the introduction then I should give. Okay, let us read the verse, then I will tell the meaning.
Sadaa sarva-gatopyatma na sarvatra ava-bhaasate buddhau ava-bhaaseta svacchheshu prati-bimba-vat.
You are saying this self, Atman, Satchidananda Swarupa, Brahman is all pervasive. Agreed. No problem. But you tell me, how is it that Satchidananda, Atma Tattva, Brahman Satchidananda, how is it here in a body? And how is it that you don't find it manifesting as a life here? Here it is life, but here it is not life. Why? How? Answer is, you all know the answer. We have discussed it. Now, that is coming here. Sadaa sarva-gatah api. Even though it is always everywhere, even though it is infinite, even though it doesn't have any boundaries in time and space, even though time, space and object cannot break it, still Atma, the self, sarvatra na ava-bhaasate. You don't find its shine as life, as the individual, as the jiva, everywhere. Self is everywhere, Atman is everywhere. But we don't find this spectacle case saying I. Whereas this fellow, even if sleeping, if somebody calls, you call me? So what is that in this? What is that in this? What is the difference? Answer is, buddhau eva ava-bhaaseta. It is only in the mind intellect that Atman appears as the individual, as the jiva, as the life. I've used 3 words. I said individual, jiva. These 2 I'm using as synonyms. Life I'm using as expression. Now, light is everywhere. Light is everywhere. But you don't get the expression of light as a reflection in everywhere. Light is there falling also on a granite. Light is also falling on a marble. But if there is, let us say, a mirror, the same light which is falling everywhere falls on the mirror, and there you have a proper reflection. Then you actually see the sun's reflection in a mirror. But the sunlight is there everywhere. Even on a granite stone it is falling. Even on that tree it is falling. Even on the sand it falls. Everywhere it falls. But you have a reflection only in a transparent medium. In the same way, svacchheshu prati-bimba-vat. Svacchheshu means in the transparent. Only in those transparent surfaces you have an actual reflection. Prati-bimba. Prati-bimba is reflection. Only in the mind intellect, which is made of the subtle elements. If you have discussed in your group Panchikarana, only in the mind intellect which is made up of sattva of the subtle elements. Did they discuss with you? Sattva, rajas, tamas? Did they discuss in your group? Right, in some groups they have discussed. Sattva. Okay, I'll tell you, little bit more I'll tell you. Every element has got 3. Tanmatra we said, is it not? The Tanmatra has got 3 aspects. Sattva, rajas, tamas. Sattva, rajas, tamas. Tamas is gross. Rajas is middling. Sattva is the subtlest. From sattva aspect of the subtle elements comes the individual subtle elements. So for example, Akasha, it has got sattva aspect. Akasha also has got rajas aspect. Akasha also has got tamas aspect. The same way, Vayu has got sattva aspect, rajas aspect, tamas aspect. In the same way, Jala also has got sattva, rajas, tamas aspect. In other words, each of the 5 elements have got 3 aspects. S, R, T. Sattva, rajas, tamas. We said this is not Panchikarana. Panchikarana, you know, the whole element does not go through. Only the tamas aspect of the elements go through Panchikarana. Swamiji, not the whole element? Yes. Only the tamas aspect of the elements undergo Panchikarana. In other words, the tamas aspect of each element, 5 elements, right? Each 5 element, the tamas aspect. The tamas aspect, 50% remains the same, 12.5, 12.5, 12.5, 12.5 from the other 4 elements. And then what happens? That becomes actually physically available. And from that, so you are understanding? So the tamas aspect of each elements undergo the process of Panchikarana and become finally the physical gross elements. from which the physical body is made. Of course, the physical world also is made from that. Then what happens to the sattva and the rajas aspect of the elements? Sattva aspect, each sattva aspect of the element contributes to one jnanendriya. Okay? One jnanendriya. Each rajas aspect of the element contributes one karmendriya. Just note down, later on you will discuss in your group. Okay? In other words, tamas aspect becomes the gross world. Rajas aspect contributes to action indriya. And sattva aspect becomes the jnanendriya. But Swamiji, mind and intellect, how then? Mind and intellect comes from the sattva aspect of all elements. Each one element gives rise to one jnanendriya. Which element gives to which jnanendriya, they will tell you. I'm not going to take now because that's not the topic here. But I can tell you one thing, all the sattva of all the elements go on to make your mind and intellect. Only sattva, not rajas, not tamas. Only sattva of the elements combine together to become the mind intellect. Separately, each sattva, it gives rise to one jnanendriya. 5 elements, 5 jnanendriya. All the sattva of all the elements go on to make the mind intellect. Okay? Same way, each element's rajas aspect, 5 element, then 5 rajas aspects, correct? Each one goes on to create one karmendriya. 5 karmendriyas you have. Now your question, which element gives rise to which karmendriya? That will be discussed in the group. Also, Atmabodha has got all this list very clearly. Before Atmabodha, one should study Atmabodha. But it's okay. You will study now along with it. All right? They will explain to you. You will get the points. No problem. But all the five elements, rajas aspects combine together to create the... Can anybody tell me? You should guess. You should guess. Tamas aspect goes on to become the body, stula sharira, and the gross world. Rajas aspect, sattva aspect, let us go. Sattva aspect, each one goes on to create the jnanendriya. Collectively it goes on to create the mind and intellect. That is sattva. Now rajas, each aspect goes on to create the karmendriya. Collectively, Purarjanma. Subtle body. You know what is missing, you see. Karmendriya, each rajas aspect of the element goes on to create one karmendriya. So 5 elements, each individual aspect, from that each 5 individual rajas, each one will create one corresponding karmendriya. Five organs of action over from individual. I am asking collectively put together. Like how for sattva, all the elements collectively put together creates mind and intellect. Now rajas, all the rajas aspect of all 5 elements collectively create what? Causal body, no. Causal body is avidya. Gross body is tamas. Karana sharira is avidya. One thing is missing. That one is from rajas collectively. Huh? Ego is also the mind and intellect. No one. In the sukshma sharira, what all there you see? What are the 17 you see? Sukshma Sharira. What are the 17? 5 Jnanendriyas, 5 Karmendriya, Prana, Pancha Prana. That is missing. Can you see? The Pancha Pranas are all coming from the Rajas aspect. So later on what you do, all of you sit with your sevaks and then put the total map. Now you have got a total map. Okay? What are the whole world you should be able to explain from these 5 elements. Whole world. Everything. When I say world, in Vedanta, world does not mean only physical world. World also is subtle world. World also is causal world. Causal world is avidya and those seeds. Now subtle world, how which is coming where, all those things. So here what is said here, even though consciousness, Satchidananda is everywhere, still Satchidananda does not manifest as Jiva, the individual. Satchidananda does not manifest as life everywhere. Such a manifestation happens where? Only in the mind intellect. Meaning the individual, the Jiva Bhava can happen. Jiva Bhava is what? That I. Jiva Bhava, that individuality. That individuality is like what? Is like the reflection. Sunlight is everywhere. But its reflection is happening only in a mirror. Even though it is everywhere, but you have a clear reflection only in the mirror. In the same way, Satchidananda is everywhere. Atman is everywhere. Brahman is everywhere. All these are same. Atman, Brahman, Satchidananda is everywhere. Yet, the manifestation as individual, as Jiva, as this I, individual I, is happening where? Only buddhau eva ava-bhaaseta, where there is buddhi. How only buddhi? Why not? Why not in body? Why not when gross body only, let us say? No. Svacchheshu prati-bimba-vat. Only the transparent can catch the, how the transparent only has got a reflection. All others it is present. Light is present. Here also light is present. Light is here also. You know, light of the sun is everywhere. Is it not? It's everywhere. Even where we say dark space, it's also there. But where are we able to see the light? When there is a medium to reflect it. We see light in the moon. We see light in the planets. In between also light is there. But you don't see it. Why? There is no medium to catch it. And the medium to catch this consciousness has to be that subtle medium. And what is that subtle medium? Buddhau eva ava-bhaaseta. And when that reflection of consciousness falls in the buddhi, in the mind-intellect equipment, then that reflection of consciousness is manifesting as an individual I, which we all say as I am. And this I is identified with all the body, the mind and intellect. This I has got all these kind of connection with the upadhis. And then you have this idea, I am the body. I am the body. Who is saying? Individual is saying. Satchidananda Swarupa, Atman is not saying I am the body. It is untouched. It is pure consciousness. But who is saying I am sad? Or who is saying now I understand? Oh, is it so? Who is saying? Satchidananda is not saying. Mind understands. But who says I understand? That is this reflected consciousness, individual, which is identified with the mind, which is identified with the intellect, which is identified with all the upadhis. Sadaa sarva-gatah aatmaa na sarvatra ava-bhaasate buddhave ava-bhaaseta svacchheshu prati-bimba-vat. Important point. What is the important point? All those creation and all you forget. Main point. What is the main point? Atman of the nature of Satchidananda appears as an individual I, not everywhere, only where there is a mind and intellect equipment. That's the main point. The rest of the things are all explanatory, not the main point. What is the main point? Satchidananda is everywhere. If Satchidananda is everywhere, why is this not saying I? Why is this fellow only saying I? That is the question. And what is the answer to that? Here there is no mind and intellect. Here there is mind and intellect. Okay, mind and intellect is here. So what? Mind and intellect is like the mirror which is able to catch the reflection. Because why? It has got the tendency, natural capacity, ability, like how a mirror is able to catch the reflection of the sun. Even though sun's light is present also everywhere, it doesn't catch like how the mirror catches the reflection. Mind and intellect is like that mirror. Why mind and intellect is like the mirror? Because it is made up of sattva. That is the answer. To explain that, I had to tell all kinds of things. Sorry for confusing. But this is the main point. Are you getting? Yes, Swami, got it. One more time, can you tell? Yes. Mind and intellect is made up of sattva. That gives a special capacity for it. Not just to think and understand and, be creative. Yes, all those things mind and intellect only can do. You can't expect the pranas to do. You cannot expect the karmendriya to. You can't expect the body to do. Mind and intellect has got this capacity. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam. From sattva, jnana comes. Right? But it has got one more, most important capacity. And that is what? To reflect consciousness. And reflected consciousness is jiva. Original consciousness is Satchidananda. Reflected consciousness is jiva. Reflected consciousness. What is jiva? This notion I. That is called jiva. Notion I. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Who's me here? Jiva. Don't. That is called jiva. Is it not? Jiva. Jiva. All right. Now this pure self, in the presence of the self, everything happens. Next verse.
Dehendriya mano buddhi prakriti-bhyah vi-lakshanam tad-vritti saakshinam vidyaat atmanam raja-vat Sadaa.
Okay. Very easy verse, you will understand. Deha. Deha translate body. Indriya, senses. Indriya is of two types. Jnanendriya, karmendriya. Manah, mind. Buddhih, intellect. Prakriti, that is avidya. You can note it down. Prakriti is avidya. Prakriti-bhyah vi-lakshanam. What is Atman? Atman is not Deha. It's vi-lakshana. Vi-lakshana is different. Its nature is different. Atman is not indriya. It is vi-lakshana from indriya. Atman is different from manah. Atman is different from buddhi. Atman is different from avidya. not only different from these upadhis, but also different from their functions. Tad-vritti. Tad-vritti here refers to what? The functions of the Deha, function of the indriya, function of the mind, function of buddhih, function of avidya. Each of these has a function. Body has got a function. If you want to go, just the legs can't go. The legs will require this. That legs will require this legs. Body has got a function. Indriyas also have a function. Each indriya has got a separate function. To see, hear, taste, smell, all those kind of things. Mind has got a function. Seat of emotions. Buddhi has got a function. Reasoning, discrimination, differentiation, analysis, etc. Avidya has got a function. Avidya has a function. What kind of function avidya has? Avidya also has got a function, is it not? It veils the self, etc. So each one of these functions are there. What about the Atman? Tad-vritti saakshinam vidyaat. It is different from all these, and at the same time, it is the witness of their functions. Tad-vritti saakshinam. Atman is the sakshi. It is a witness. It is a witness means what? What do you mean by witness? Witness is someone who has seen or who has experienced. They call somebody as witness, is it not? Witness will come. What this person has seen, accident happened, this person saw, witness. But he was not involved in that. He has no connection with those people there. He is not a party to anything. He is not a party of the accident. He is only a witness. So witness means what? One who is distinct, unconnected, disassociated, and at the same time one who just sees. On top of the terrace of your home, you are standing there and you watch all the vehicles going up, down, this side, that side, dog going, cow coming, everything you are seeing. You are what? You are uninterested, disinterested watcher. You came back from your college. Now you are cup of tea, and then you're just watching. Disinterested knower. An experiencer which is distant and at the same time experiencing, watching. That is the self, Atma. So it is Sakshi, that is one. Next is raja-vat Sadaa, like a king. What do you mean like a king? When the king is there, all the ministers and everybody do their respective functions. King is not doing anything, but in his presence, everything happens. In the presence of consciousness, all the inert body, senses, mind, intellect, everything goes to function. In its presence. King is not doing anything. In the presence of the king, everybody functions. In the same way, in the presence of consciousness, all these equipment, senses, mind, intellect, everything functions. But is it doing anything? No, it is not doing anything. But in its presence, everything happens. Without it, nothing will happen. But it itself is not doing anything. And finally, what is it doing? It is just a disinterested witness. A crooked fellow. Thoughts are crooked. Is Atman crooked? No. But can the crookedness of that person be there without the Atman? No. Atman is not responsible for the crookedness. But without it being present, the buddhi can't function. The fellow can't even think crookedly. But can you blame the Atman? No. Now there is a saint, saintly thinking. The saintly thinking is again a thinking of the mind and intellect. Mind and intellect by themselves cannot do anything, any thinking, crooked or saintly. From where? Who is giving the capacity? Where is the life for that mind and intellect to think? That is coming from the Atman. But is Atman doing the saintly thinking? No. Can you blame or glorify the Atman for that? No. In its presence, everything happens. But it itself is not a participant of the action in any way other than by being present. It's the uninvolved witness. Are you understanding this concept? It's an uninvolved witness is one. It is also an uninvolved enabler. That is also second. Catalyst gets into the action and finally comes out of it free. That is catalyst. It doesn't get into action. That is a difference. A slight difference. But yet, slight difference. Why? Catalyst gets into the action, but finally is detached from the action. But here it does not get into the action. During the action, before the action, during the action, and after the action, it is the same. Detached. If that is you keep in mind, then it is fine. Bike. Okay? In the bike, somebody drives. Yes, on bike, somebody drives. Bike drives. Nicely, happily, joyfully, following all rules and regulations of traffic, the fellow drives. Another fellow drives. Vicious driver. No rules followed, nothing, everything. Accident. The fellow says, "Don't arrest me. I am not responsible for the accident. Will I be able to drive the vehicle without petrol? Arrest the petrol." Will anybody having an ounce of intelligence will do that? No. The same way. It's a silent enabler. It is a silent witness, it is a silent enabler, and it is what it is. Satchidananda. Dehendriya mano buddhih prakriti-bhyah vi-lakshanam tad-vritti saakshinam vidyaat atmanam raja-vat Sadaa. Next verse. Vyaa-priteshu indriyeshvatmaa
vyaa-paaree va vivekinam drishyate bhreshu dhavatsu dhavan nivayata shashi.
You cannot find a better example. Vyaa-priteshu indriyeshu. Vyaa-priteshu indriyeshu, when the indriyas are functioning. When the indriyas are functioning, when the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin are working, when the legs, hands and all of them are functioning, when the mind is functioning, when the intellect is functioning, when the pranas are functioning. When all these organs of action and all these upadhis are doing their respective functioning, what happens? To the ignorant person, it appears as though the self is functioning. So, when the mouth is talking, what do I say? I say, I am speaking. And when your ears are listening and your buddhi is processing and your intelligence is understanding, what are you saying? I am listening, I am understanding. Same way, if your processor is not working properly and you don't understand, and then what would you say? I don't understand anything. Swamiji, in my group, you know what is there? There are more thunder thunder is more, lightning is more than knowledge. In my group, it is like that. We have thunder and lightning going on in every group discussion. I hope it is not there like that. And I hope all the sevaks are helping you come to an understanding and clarity. Alright? I'm sure it is happening. That's why I can see all of you doing so well. Alright? What is the point? The point is when the upadhis, indriya, senses, mind, intellect, all of them are functioning, an ignorant person considers I am doing. Actually, he is not doing anything. You are the sakshi. I am Sachidananda Swarupa, just a witness. I do nothing. In my presence, everything happens. I do nothing. But yet, what do I think? I think I am talking, I am walking, I am sleeping, I am getting up, I am intelligent. So many kinds of things I think. Like how drishyate abreshu dhavatsu dhavan nivayata shashi. When the clouds are rushing, when the clouds are running, because of the wind, clouds are moving fast, it appears as though the moon is running. Have you had this experience? Sometime night here also you can see. When you look at the moon, clouds, because it's a lot of clouds. And then the clouds the wind pushes the clouds and the clouds keep, running in whatever speed. And the moon which is behind there appears it is running. When the clouds run this side, the moon appears to be running this side. It happens, is it not? Even train and all those things. The train is going, it appears all the trees are. But what is moving there? Clouds are moving. Moon, what is moving there? Train is moving. The same way, what is functioning, what is doing, what is working, what is acting? The upadhis. But we are seeing the self through the medium of the upadhis. And therefore, we superimpose, we imagine the upadhis activities on the atman, on the self. And we think we are doing all these things. We are not doing all these things. Any person who, only a child will say, moon is running, papa, come and see, moon is running. Papa also will come and say, moon is running, just to entertain this small fellow. But a little bit when the fellow grows up, and the fellow, if he says that, say, beta, moon is not running, clouds are running. Clouds are running. The moon appears to run because the clouds are running. The moving clouds give an appearance of the moon moving. It's only an appearance, not a fact. So whenever you say, I am, whatever you say, then what are you saying? You are like that child. You are not doing anything. You are the pure self. You are the pure Sachidananda Swarupa. Remember that and be liberated. Talking is done by the indriya, not me. I remember long back when we had gone for the camps with Gurudev. Camps means like this, where he was taking, I think, Vivek-Chudamani or some text, Vivek-Chudamani, I think. Between the morning there used to be meditation session. 5:30 to 6 used to be meditation session. 6:30 your class will start. And then you have this time, between 6 to 6:30, half an hour. We used to go fast, drink tea, and then come and sit in front of Gurudev. Gurudev will be very quiet. Probably meditation is over, but he'll be quiet, still. So in his presence we'll be just sitting there. Unforgettable times with the great master, realized master, Jnani Mahatma sitting. I was probably 16 years, I was doing my 12th standard, sitting there. That half an hour, calm, quiet, peaceful. There was one lady there who thought Gurudev is sitting quiet and all of them are quiet, and she will sing some bhajans. If she sings good also, it's okay, enjoyable. But voice, as though all donkeys have come together in her voice. She starts singing, thinking that she's making Gurudev enjoy. Every day she sang. Not one day, every day she sang. It was a horrible experience. Then we have a question session. At the end of the camp, we have a question session where you write in a paper and then the paper goes to Gurudev. And so many people will have questions. All of them will be there and Gurudev will take one question, answer it, and then the paper would be torn, put in a dustbin, like that. One of the questions asked was, Gurudev, at that time we would not be calling Gurudev, we'll call him Swamiji only. Swamiji, every day this lady sang. We could not even bear her. But you were sitting quietly, silently for half an hour for these, days. How did you manage it? One question was asked there. Gurudev took it, read the question and said, the sound of her mouth reached the tympanum of my ear, and the mind and intellect said, this is not a good, nice, sweet voice. And in this whole process, what did I do? I am only a witness. I have nothing to do. The intellect is telling it is a very harsh voice. The tympanum is suffering. What have I got to do? I'm just a witness. The hearer is the ear. The experiencer is the mind intellect. The one bhoga sadhanam, bhoga sadhanam is the mind intellect and indriyas. And the one who thinks it is horrible is the individual. Who am I? I am not the senses. I am not the sound. I am not the intellect and the one who is thinking it is this and that. Who am I? I am the pure Sachidananda Swarupa. I am the Sakshi. Vyaa-priteshu indriyeshu aatmaa vyaa-paaree. Vyaa-paaree. As so it is also functioning. For whom? Avivekinam. One who doesn't know the nature of the self. All right. Deha indriya gunan karmani. Next verse, right? Is that the next verse?
No, Swamiji. Atma Chaitanya.
Atma Chaitanyam Ashritya. That's the next verse. Yes.
Atma Chaitanyamashritya Dehendriyamanodhiyah swa-kreeyaartheshu vartante sooryaa-lokam yatha janaah.
Dehendriya gunan karmani amale satchidatmani adhyasyantya vivekena gagane neelat-aadi-vat ajñānān manasopadhe kartritva-aadini chātmani kalpyantem bhugate chandre
chalana-aadi
yatam vasaha. Same similar idea, all the three verses. Therefore we read together. Atma Chaitanyam Ashritya depending upon the effulgence of the self. Depending on the effulgence of the self of the nature of Satchidananda, depending on the effulgence, meaning depending upon the life bestowed by the pure self. The life, what is life? The reflection of the pure consciousness in the mind and intellect is the individuality. That reflection which falls on the mind and intellect manifests as the ability to gain impulses and respond. That is called life. Response to stimuli. Stimuli you are able to gain, and response you are able to give. That is called life. Awareness. Awareness is coming from consciousness. Consciousness is your nature. That Satchidananda, which is existence, consciousness, bliss, by reflecting in the mind-intellect pool, by the waters or the reflecting medium of the mind-intellect, appears as the individual, and the very fact of it appearing in the mind and intellect as that individual enables the mind, intellect, the body, the senses, the pranas, all of them to function. But where is the original source? That is from the self, you, the pure consciousness. Atma chaitanyam ashritya, depending upon that. Deha, indriya, manah, Deha, all of them. Swa-kreeyaartheshu vartante, they all do their functions. They all do their functions. Depending upon them. But can you say self is actually doing anything? No. Example, sooryaa-lokam yatha janaha. Just as how this example is wrong. If I get to meet Shankaracharya, I will tell him. Maybe at this time correct. Now present time nothing. Why? Sooryaa-lokam, when the sun rises, how all people get up. Shankaracharya, you have to come and see. Whether human beings get up or not, birds get up. Sooryaa-lokam yatha khagaha. We can make a change. Yeah, in the camp you are all getting up much before sunrise, is it not? Meaning, when the sun rises, there's a natural tendency for the world to awake from its slumber of the night. Sun is not coming and telling in you in the ears, get up. I have come, get up. Sun is not telling anything. The very fact sun rises energizes the world. All the birds get up, they start chirping. All the flowers, etc., start coming to life. The whole earth starts waking up. The effulgence of the sun energizes the world. The sun is not actually doing anything. It is just moving. It is just moving. It is not responsible for each one of us, because it is not telling, coming and doing anything to you. In the same way, in the presence of the self, Deha, indriya, mano, Deha, swa-kreeyaartheshu, in their respective actions they are engaged. But it itself is neither losing energy because you all got up, put lot of effort and made you all get up in the camp. Lot of effort. So sun lost energy. No. It is just, in its presence, everything happens. Dehendriya gunan karmani amale sachidatmani adhyasyanti avivekena gagane neelat-aadi-vat. Gagane neelat-aadi-vat. That is the next example. Gagana means space. In space, neela, blue, and so on. Meaning, the blueness of the space. Space has no color. Space is space, no color. But we speak of the blue skies. And when the sunset is there, evening sunset, we speak of red, orange, all colors. Space has no color. Morning also, we speak of the dawn. During the dawn, the beautiful colors splashed on the skies. All poetry you can write, but space has no color. But we see colors. That is because of Raman's effect. Scattering of the light by the particles. Sky by itself has no color. Sometimes we see sky as a dome. Nothing is there, but we experience it. But all people who have got some ounce of intelligence, who know something, they know sky has no color. It appears to have this color. In the same way, the self has no actions, but all the actions are superimposed upon the self. In the same way as colors and all are superimposed upon space because of ignorance. Ajnanat. Because of ajnana, ignorance. Ignorance because of the ignorance of the nature of the self. What is happening? Manaso padehe kartritva-aadini. Verse number 21. Manaso padehe. Your mind, intellect, equipments. The notion of doership, enjoyership. I am doing so and so. This is all from kartritva, bhoktritva, which is there in the mind and intellect. Kartritva, bhoktritva. All those things, what is happening, they're all the activities of the mind and intellect, the sense of enjoyership. When some nice music comes, or let us say some wonderful, smell comes, whatever it is there, the mind and intellect start enjoying. How nice, so beautiful. Right? So this is called enjoyership. So nice. I find it so beautiful. So this is a thought. Kartritva, I have to do something. How can this be tolerated? So this is also coming from mind and intellect, these kind of things. All those things, what is happening, they are all superimposed on the self. They're all superimposed on the self. The enjoyment is happening here, the sense of wanting to do is happening in the mind and intellect, but all those things, I put it on the self, superimposed on the self. Like how? Ambugate chandre chalana-aadi yatambasaha. Ambas is water. Right? The moon getting reflected in the water. When the moon gets reflected in the water, and then the water in the water, let us say, in the pool moves, it appears as what? The moon is moving. Have you seen that? If the water gets broken, then we feel the moon, the reflected moon is broken. Actually, that is only light. The movement of the water gives an appearance as though this light, this moon which is reflected there is broken. Or suppose the water is very little, let us say, mixed with some kind of pollutants and all those things. Then the moon appears as what? The moon appears as dark. So many things we find in the reflected. All what is happening, superimposed from what is there in the waters. In the same way, all that is happening in the mind and intellect, we superimpose. All that is happening in the mind and intellect, the notion of I have to do something, the kartritva or the bhoktritva, I enjoy something, all those things I superimpose to the pure self, and then I say, I am happy, I am sad, I have to do this, I am doing this. All kinds of notions are superimposed on the self. Actually, self is nothing. Like how the reflected moon which is there, it does not break, it is just light. The water gives an appearance as though the moon is broken. It's only an appearance. In the same way, I am doing, I am happy, I am sad. All these things are put on the pure self, and that is only an appearance. That is verse number 22. Am I right? 20? 23? Okay, 22. Now, next verses we'll take up in that session tomorrow, okay? Shall we read just the verses we have completed today?
Sadaa sarva-gatopyatma na sarvatra ava-bhaasate buddhau ava-bhaaseta svacchheshu prati-bimba-vat deha mano buddhih prakriti-bhyah vi-lakshanam tad-vritti saakshinam vidyaat aatmanam raja-vat sadaa vyaa-priteshu indriyeshvatma vyaa-paaree va-vivekinam drishyate bheshu dhavatsu dhavanniva yatha shashi atma-chaitanyamashritya dehendriya manodhiyah swa-kreeyaartheshu vartante sooryaa-lokam yatha janaah dehendriya gunan karmani amale satchidatmani adhyasyantya vivekena gagane neelat-aadi-vat ajñānān mānasopadhe kartritva-aadini chatmani kalpyante bhugate chandre chalana-aadi yathāmbhasah.
Right. What is kartritva? In English, doership. What is the meaning of doership? I am doing, I am walking, I am sitting, I am talking, I am. This is called doership. Doership, I am doing something. And doing can change. Eating, sleeping, whatever. I'm doer. Now, what is enjoyership? When we do an action, when the result comes, whatever, then you feel happy. I am happy. That is enjoyership. I am sad. That is also enjoyership. Action, results. When we go through the joys and sorrows of life, which are the results of actions, then the sense of I am happy, I am sad. All those things are enjoyership. So I am doing is a thought in the intellect. I am enjoying is a thought in the intellect. I am superimposing that on the pure self. And I think I am actually doing. No. You are the sakshi. You are the raja. In some languages they talk of babies as raja. And rajadani. They talk like that. My dear one. You are the pure consciousness. Are you getting? What is kartritva? I am the doership. What is the meaning of doership? I am doing. Where is it? In the mind intellect. In the intellect actually. It's a decisive thought. And that I think is truth and I am actually doing. No. That is put on me. Same way, enjoyership also. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.